The first time I heard her voice, it came thin and ragged across the salt flats, like wind scraping a bottle. The sun hammered the world into a bleached sheet, and the horizon danced on heat. I had a pack of water, a coil of rope, and a plan to reach the rail spine before night. Plans are fragile things. She lay half buried in crystallized dust beside a shattered road sign, orange fur dulled with grit and blood. Long ears flickered once at my shadow. The arrow through her thigh had black veins spidering outward, the kind of poison raiders favored when they wanted pain to keep moving. "Leave me," she said, accented low common, teeth bright behind cracked lips. "My kind runs. The weak stay." "I'm not your kind," I said and knelt. She watched my hands as I snapped the arrowhead and slid the shaft free. She did not cry out. Vulpine don't. Their pride is a shield sharper than their claws. I rinsed the wound with precious water, pressed sealant over the puncture, and wrapped it with the cleanest strip of shirt I had left. "Name?" asked. Her pupils narrowed to slits, assessing the sky for vultures, the salt for shadows. Ciravel Inarii, royal cadence in 4 syllables. I'd seen it once, far from here. A Vulpine envoy stepping down from a glass transport, tails braided with silver thread. I recognized the crest burned into the metal clasp at Cira's shoulder. Princess, then. Exiled or hunted, it didn't matter yet. "Jace," I said. "I'm heading to the rail spine. There's a med cistern at mile marker 20. You're coming." She laughed, small and bitter. "Her kind forsakes the weak. That is our law." "Then try a different law," I said. I slipped the rope beneath her arms, tied a sling to my chest, and lifted. She was not heavy, all sinew and heat, and a tremble she hid until my shoulder took it. We moved. The flats gave way to the glass forest, melted skyscrapers frozen into ribbed spires, hung with torn solar sails that clacked in the wind. Shards hummed with static. The old world's bones sang under our feet. Cira's ear flicks mapped the wind for me, her nose catching the metallic tang of an incoming dust squall before the horizon smudged red. "Shelter," she hissed, and I trusted her in that. We went to ground beneath a canted slab where shadow pooled. I pressed my back against cool glass with her bundled against my chest, and the world became a roaring bruise. Red grit hissed over the slab, found the seams of my scarf, filled my teeth with sand. Cira dug her claws into my jacket and didn't let go. When the storm passed, everything wore a fine skin of rust. I spat blood and turned my face to the rail spine, black line on pale land. She watched me with that royal stillness. "Why?" she said. "Because once I didn't," I answered. "I had a sister. We were running from the city fires. I was faster." She stumbled. I looked back and the law of scarcity spoke in my bones. I kept running. I met Cira's eyes. "I've been breaking that law ever since." She was quiet a long time. When we walked again, it was with her arm hooked at my neck, chin over my shoulder, breath warm against my ear. Her tail, heavy with dust, thumped against my thigh in rhythm with my steps. Near noon we found footprints like commas in the salt, clawed and deep, Vulpine scouts. Cira's fur rose along her spine. "They will not help." "Yes. They will not be allowed," she said. "Our rule is simple. Pack runs light. Those who fall were never meant to lead. But you are meant to lead." She did not argue. By twilight, the rail spine rose like a black vertebra. We slid down a rubble slope to the old maintenance road and crossed the shadows of struts. The med cistern at mile marker 20 was a bulb of buried plastic, its door stenciled with a red cross long faded to pink. Locks mean nothing to salt and time. I pried it open with my knife. Inside, cool air kissed our faces. Shelves held blister packs, sealed syringes, and a data slate blinking a single green eye. I cleaned Syrah's wound again in the dim. She bit my sleeve once, not in anger but in anchoring. "It will scar," I said. "Good," she murmured. "Scars speak." I dosed her with anti-venin and an old-world pain shot that softened the bands of muscle in her neck. While she slept in the curve of my arm, I listened to the flats. The desert can be loud. Wind in wires, the skitter of glass lizards, the far call of raiders riding sunstriders whose hooves spark blue. Behind the noise I heard another thing, the soft thrum of engines idling. We were found at dawn. They came atop the rail line, silhouettes against the whitening sky, tails pennant, armor that drank light. The lead rider had silver braids and a crest heavier even than Syrah's. His voice cut clean. "Syrah vel Inarii, daughter of the High Denver, you fell. Law binds us to witness your end." Syrah pushed herself upright, lips drawn thin. "Cousin Carrick's. Law binds you to shame." Carrick's dismounted with a soldier's economy, gaze flicking over me the way a butcher checks a weight. "You've been carried," he said to Syrah, contempt like frost. "By prey." "By a man," I said evenly. "And we are not prey." Carrick's smile showed too many teeth. He turned to his pack. "We run. We do not mend. We hunt. We do not hide in holes. You choose the pack or you choose the sand." Syrah's claws ticked the floor of the cistern. "I choose who carried me." A murmur went through the riders, shock braided with anger. Carrick's hand went to his blade. "Then let the sand take you both." I had no blade that could match his, and no tail to balance on a rail with grace. But I had spent months mapping this stretch of dead world, learning its habits and hungers. "You hear that?" I said, not to Carrick's but to Syrah. Her ears canted. The faint whine grew, rising from the rails beneath Carrick's boots, a vibration through steel. Old power sleeping in old lines. "Jace," Syrah began. I snapped the data slate into the service panel I'd pried the night before and punched the manual feed. The rail coil blinked awake with a sound like thunder in a hallway. Carrick staggered as the electromag pulsed. Armor systems hiccuped. Tails arched for sparking. Their mounts screamed and bolted. The pack scattered, not from fear but from disrupted control. "Bought us a breath." Syrah seized it. She rose, bearing weight she shouldn't, and threw her voice the way only her people can. Sharp enough to make my eyes water, clear enough to cut the morning. "Rite of Choosing," she called. "Witness it." The words hit the pack harder than any pulse. Even Carrick stopped. Ancient law buckled up through newer cruelty. He could not kill under a rite without staining his own crest. Syrah's hand found mine. Her palm was hot and shaking. "I choose the one who bears me," she said. "Not to me but to the sky and the salt and the thudding rails. Until I can bear myself." Silence settled like ash. Carrick's jaw clicked. He sheathed his blade with a sound like a door closing. "Then run with your bearer," he spat the word. "If you live to the den, law will judge you." He signaled, and the pack flowed away along the rail, ghosts on steel, leaving dust and the smell of scorched fur. Syrah sagged, much of the bravado leaking out with her breath. I caught her, and in catching, held something larger, the hinge of a life.